Now on CoastTV News.
Delaware Democrats' deficit deal, the new legislation being pushed as the state faces a $400 million shortfall. Nancy Pelosi announced today she will not seek re-election to Congress after nearly 40 years in Washington.
Well, it's a sunny but brisk day on Delmarva, tracking a frosty night ahead, as well as roller coaster temperatures from the weekend into early next week.
This is CoastTV News Midday.
Good morning and thank you for joining us. Today is Thursday, November 6, 2025. I'm Grace Eckerly and welcome to CoastTV News Midday. Developing news in Delaware today, Democrats in the General Assembly are pushing legislation as the state faces a deficit. On Wednesday, District 20 Representative Alana Berry co-sponsored House Bill 2255. Supporters of the measure say it will prevent a projected $400 million shortfall caused by recent federal tax changes. The bill would separate Delaware's tax code from certain federal provisions, stopping corporate tax breaks that Democrats claim would drain the state over the next 3 years. The House committee is scheduled to review the bill Friday morning. Now taking a live look into a beautiful sunny day on our coast. The waves look absolutely gorgeous, but our first alert meteorologist Chris Mastrobono is telling us now it's going to be a brisk day. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning, Grace. Yes, we're seeing those bright blue skies here in Cambridge and across Delmarva, but yes, we have that chill in the air thanks to those gusty winds. We're at 55 right now in Cambridge, and we had quite a bit of wind overnight. This came in the wee hours of the morning. We gusted up to 53 miles an hour in Dewey Beach, 47 in Lewis, and we had a gust up to 40 in Georgetown and in Salisbury. Right now, we're seeing those winds out of the northwest, gusting to 30 Indian River Inlet to 30 in Salisbury. We have temperatures right now in the 50s, 54 Long Neck, we're at 55 Redden, and we are at 54 in Georgetown. Clear skies. We have another front that's pushing through to the north, and this is just going to kind of reinforce the cool, drier air as high pressure builds into the region. So we're looking at a mostly sunny afternoon, highs topping out in the upper 50s. The good news is the winds are going to be relaxing through the afternoon and into the evening, and that's going to help us with some frost that's going to be developing overnight into our Friday. And we are looking at the 70s to make a return into the weekend, but it's going to be a brief return because we're going to take a big nosedive into early next week. I'll talk more about that coming up in that full forecast. Grace.
Thank you, Chris. And happening today, Milton's Police Accountability Committee moves forward. According to the agenda, the group is set to discuss training for members. This after an introduction of police staff. The committee is meeting at Grace Church tonight at 5 p.m. Also happening tonight, Delaware's Department of Health and Social Services and DenRec launching a new grant opportunity to support community outreach and awareness about PFAS, also known as forever chemicals that can contaminate groundwater. There will be a public webinar at 6 p.m. to introduce the program, and that webinar will include what kinds of projects will qualify for grant funding and what organizations can apply for it. Money is coming in for parks and land preservation on Maryland's Eastern Shore. The Board of Public Works just approved more than $3 million in grants statewide, and in Worcester County, funds will go towards a new parking area at Schau Park in Berlin to better handle visitors. Happening now in Maryland, Market Street Public House has turned a small side window into a daily soup drive. They're serving free meals to neighbors while those SNAP benefits remain on hold, and the drive runs Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and Sundays from 11 a.m. to noon. New this morning, the Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says he will cut flight capacity by 10% at 40 large airports beginning on Friday morning. Now, this is due to the federal government shutdown. NBC's Alice Barr shows us how that impact could be felt across the country.
This morning, the stalemate in Washington bringing new gridlock in the skies.
Yeah, it's going to impact the everyday lives.
Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy announcing major flight cancellations are coming, with a 10% reduction in flights at 40 of the nation's busiest airports starting tomorrow.
We are working with the airlines. They're going to work with passengers. But in the end, our sole role is to make sure that we keep this airspace as safe as possible.
The secretary citing government shutdown-driven staffing shortages because of air traffic controllers and TSA officers working without pay, now calling in sick to work side jobs. That, paired with delays and reductions in federal food assistance benefits for families in need.
It gets a few calls saying, like, we don't know what the kids are going to eat.
Adding to the urgency to strike a deal.
Leader Jeffries and I this morning demanded that Donald Trump sit down and meet with us.
President Trump acknowledging the shutdown may have hurt his party in Tuesday's elections.
The shutdown was a big factor, negative for the Republicans.
While Democratic leaders are holding the line on boosting health care provisions in any deal to reopen the government, bipartisan talks between rank and file members are ramping up.
We've had the election. Now we can all reopen and now find a way forward now.
A way forward to restore stability for American families. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
According to travel company Kayak, the best time to find savings on holiday air travels is generally from mid-October to early November, so basically right now. For the lowest fares, Kayak's just flying out for Thanksgiving on Monday, November 24th. And for Christmas, the most affordable day to fly domestically or internationally will be Christmas Eve. The U.S. Travel Association estimates there's been a loss of $1 billion in consumer spending every week since the government shutdown began on October 1st. The Supreme Court is now questioning Trump's lawyer on whether the president has the authority to impose sweeping tariffs on imports under a law designed for use during national emergencies. Justice agreed that there is no current emergency to warrant the authorization of it and noted that taxes on Americans have always been, quote, a core power of Congress and not the president. If SCOTUS overturns the tariffs, businesses currently paying them could demand the government pay back the revenue raised since August. That's about $86 billion worth. Newly announced this morning, former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi saying that she will not seek re-election for another term in Congress. This will end nearly 4 decades in Washington for her. In a Thursday video, the 85-year-old Congresswoman expressed gratitude and pride for her years representing her constituents in San Francisco. Pelosi was first elected to Congress in 1987, and 20 years later, she made history when she became the first ever female House Speaker. She remains the only woman to have held that position, and she announced her retirement online. She served for 40 years. After the break on CoastTV News Midday, this week's Coastal Connections will show you how one jazz legend is sharing his passion for the next generation. That's after the break.
Well, despite sunny skies, it feels quite chilly out there with the breezy conditions this morning. Taking a live look into Dover, 55 degrees there, mostly sunny through the afternoon as we'll top out in the mid to upper 50s. Congratulations to Susan Weiss, Millsboro, Delaware. You're the winner of our CoastTV weather umbrella. Coming up, we will talk about a little something for everyone, something for the warm weather lovers and something for the cold weather lovers coming up.
Sometimes a single lesson can strike just the right chord when it comes from somebody who's lived the music. Students from Cape Henlopen and Dover High School got that opportunity with a renowned jazz trombonist who's been playing for 35 years. In this week's Coastal Connections, Nicole Richter shows us how one jazz player took that big-time jazz sound and brought it to a couple of kids.
The sound of jazz. Smooth, loud, and full of soul filled the theater at Fred Thomas Middle School. When Wycliffe Gordon plays, every note tells a story that echoes through generations of jazz.
The success of music comes with everybody doing their part. I think it's a great mantra for how we can live.
The world-renowned trombonist spent the day sharing more than techniques. He shared a piece of his passion with the next generation of musicians.
Being here to share my experience with the kids is great to get a chance to work with them, because it somewhat reminds me of when I was young.
For the students, like Riley Choma, a senior at the Cape Henlopen High School, the clinic was a rare chance to learn directly from a professional.
Him being here in front of me and giving me, not me individually, but me advice on how to improve my playing. It was just I just feel very privileged, and I had like a great time. I learned a lot.
As the final notes rang out, Gordon left the students with one last message.
Regardless of their playing ability or their level of playing, it starts here, but it doesn't stop here. It has to go out into the world.
The session gave students a chance to jam, ask questions, and experience jazz in a way they'll never forget, a lesson in music and in life. For Coastal Connections, I'm Nicole Richter.
Well, our sunny, dry weather continues, but we are much cooler than where we were this time yesterday. We're running about 8 to 10 degrees cooler throughout the peninsula thanks to a pair of cold fronts that have pushed through the region. Still seeing that northwest wind flow, gusts 34 Indian River Inlet, 30 in Salisbury. These winds are going to be winding down through the afternoon. We actually have a fire concern due in part to the gusty winds and the lower humidity levels. We have that fire concern through the afternoon, so burning anything is prohibited, at least through the evening time frame. We're at 53 right now in Lewis. We're at 54 in Milford, 56 in Seaford. You can see we are under clear skies, just a few cumulus clouds to our north. Here's that secondary front that's pushing through and just going to reinforce the cool, drier air. High pressure building eastward. That's going to park right over the region as we go into the night. Well, we are moving along here as far as our leaf changes are concerned. We're at the peak for the northern portion of the peninsula, but near the peak through western portions of the peninsula and the mid-shore, and still on the coast, we're at, still seeing some patchy leaf changes there along the Delaware coast all the way down through Maryland and Virginia. You can see some of that foliage there in Salisbury. Beautiful shot there, 56 degrees there. Note the dew point, 29, so it's very dry out there. Now we do have a frost advisory. This kicks into effect 1 a.m. through 8 a.m. Friday, excluding the coast. We're going to see some frost develop through western portions of the county as well as through much of the northern mid-shore, and we still do have small craft advisories. These run through 6 o'clock this evening, and then we have that one from Ocean City down to Chincoteague. That's up for another 2 hours, and then the Bay, that one's extended through 5 a.m. on Saturday. Highs today, mid to upper 50s across Delmarva. 58 Cambridge, we'll see 58 in Seaford, as well as 58 in Salisbury. You see overnight lows dip to 32 in Millsboro, 34 in Georgetown, 32 Greenwood, and 38 in Rehoboth Beach. It's going to be a frosty start to the day. As you notice, those winds subside through the evening and overnight. We'll see more of a southwest wind as we go into the day tomorrow. Gusts 20 to 25 miles an hour. Clear skies through the evening and overnight. That will promote that frost formation overnight. Into Friday. Friday we start with sunny skies, then clouds increase through the evening and overnight ahead of another front that will bring a brief chance of a shower. Everyone's not going to see rain. It's a little sprinkle there into early Saturday morning, but by Saturday afternoon, temperatures are going to be surging to near 70 degrees, average high 62. So it's going to be a mild weekend, and then yes, the bottom drops out behind that second front that's going to be pushing through Sunday. You can see we have a chance of rain there Sunday afternoon, but then behind that, some of the coldest air mass we've seen so far this fall season. We're talking about highs in the 40s, overnight lows in the 20s. We'll likely see a hard freeze Monday night into Tuesday morning. Grace.
Thanks, Chris. And coming up tonight on DSN at 5:30, you can tune into for high school football pregame show, Scoops and Scores. Then at 6, Maryland High School playoff football when Easton hosts Hammond. At 11 p.m., catch the final score. And here's what you can look forward to this afternoon on Coast Life at 4 p.m.
Hope you're having a wonderful day so far, and if you join us today at 4 on Coast Life, here's what's coming up. Of course, it's Thursday. That means we've got a little drama to spill. Is this person wrong for not wanting to be in their sister's wedding anymore? Yes, we will spill all that tea a little bit later on. Also, though, you want to break out all your 80s gear for an amazing fundraiser and an amazing cause. All of that and more is happening today at 4 on Coast Life. We'll see you then.
Happening today and right now, it's the 3rd annual Veterans Day Career Carnival and Resource Fair that takes place from noon to 5 p.m. at the Salisbury Fire Department Station 16. Organizers say that the free event is open to the public and will feature more than 25 employers and organizations, and veterans and transitioning service members are encouraged to arrive early for a special recognition ceremony that starts soon at 11:30, where they'll also receive priority access to employers before general admission begins. Run closes bridge. What you need to know if you're making a trip across the Chesapeake Bay on Sunday in Maryland. Coming up on Sunday, the eastbound span of the Bay Bridge is closing for the annual Bay Bridge Run. That closure starts just after midnight and lasts until about 2 p.m., weather permitting. The Maryland Transportation Authority says drivers should expect delays. And on a different bridge, Ocean City police say that Route 90 bridge leading into Ocean City was closed in both directions this morning following a crash. The department advised drivers to seek alternate routes. That included Route 50 or Delaware Route 54, but Ocean City police say that the area has since been reopened.
You can always get your latest forecast by calling our First Alert weather phone. Your 10-day forecast shows 58 today, sunny skies. We have frost tonight into Friday morning, 64 for our Friday, looking pretty nice. Mild into our weekend. Look at that, 70 on Saturday. We do have rain in the forecast for Sunday, and then behind that, yes, the bottom drops out. We're going to be in the 40s for highs as some of the coldest air mass we've seen so far this fall comes in, and we'll likely see a hard freeze there into Tuesday morning. So,
well, Chris, I'm sure a lot of people are going to be watching with that 70 going into 40 temperatures. That's crazy, but I know you like the cold, so I guess it's fine. I guess it'll be fine. Well, thank you, Chris, and thank you so much for joining us here on Coast TV News Midday. If you're looking for more local news or weather, you can download our Coast TV News app, and don't forget to join us right back here for Coast TV News at 5 just later this afternoon. And until then, you can have a great day.